do a Pledge of Allegiance first. Is that how you normally do it?
Yes.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I guess I should have said what we are first, too.
We're calling the meeting to order.
Yeah, calling the meeting to order. This is the Goffstown River Advisory Committee. And we have the chair, Collis Adams, is calling in. Collis, do you want to
Yeah, if you could do a roll call for everybody.
do a roll call first?
Yes.
Or does he need to appoint me to run the meeting first?
I don't think so. I think if you just want to.
Okay, we're going to do a roll call, Collis. You here and tell us why you're there and why you're calling in, I guess.
Yeah, this is Collis Adams. I'm calling in remotely. Sorry I can't be with you in person, but circumstances just didn't allow it.
And Dia, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So Dia, if you could just indicate that you're participating remotely and whether anybody else is in the room with you.
Okay, so Dia Solis calling in remotely. Nobody's in the room with me.
Thank you, Dia. Chris?
Yeah, and nobody's in the room with me other than my dog. I've sworn her to secrecy, so.
Good. Chris Carabin is here.
Josh Elliott is here.
Barbara Schultz is here.
Andy Cataract?
Jane Raymond.
Dick Bruno.
And Derek Horn, Town Administrator, as staff.
Okay. So we called the meeting to order. We're going to go right into the minutes. Thank you, Dia, for putting the minutes together.
Thank you, Derek, and thank you, Andy, for helping with the minutes, for formatting them. Derek?
Yep.
I have,
So Dia, that was your first stab at it. How did you find it went?
Fine. I wasn't sure how much information, how much detail. And, Corey Clark certainly gave us lots and lots of information. I really just did a very, brief overview of some of the topics covered. And I didn't know, do you call out each person with comments? So I see, Derek, I think you added, I don't think I did, that Jane had said, the meeting at the high school was well received, but many people made other comments that I didn't note. So anybody's welcome to give feedback or tell me if more information is needed. The only thing that's a problem is I'm at this artist residency, and it was really hard to find a computer, and then I sent it as a PDF, then we could transfer it. Anyway, it all worked out.
thank you.
That's good.
I thought they were
As I always tell people, Dia, they're called minutes for a reason. They're not hours, they're minutes.
Yeah.
And another little trick, Dia, is when you list the people who are in attendance after each name, just put the initials, and then as you go through the minutes, you can just put, CA said this, or other initials said that.
Thank you for telling me that, because I was like, okay, Chairman Adams said this, and Corey Clark.
No.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, but I really, really, really do welcome any feedback, and nobody could over-edit. do whatever you need to make it right.
All right, Barbara has a comment.
Yeah, and forgive me, I was an editor in my former life as well as a teacher, so these things jump out at me. These are just typo things. Under call to order, the Collis Adams called the meeting to order is repeated twice. We can get rid of that. Mm-hmm. And then my name under number 3, my name does not have a Z.
Okay. And it's, how's it spelled above? Okay, yep, that's remote.
Barbara, I didn't hear that. Your name does not have a what?
A Z at the end of it.
Oh, okay.
And Josh has a comment.
I wasn't at the meeting. My name has 2 T's in it at the end, so it's Elliott with 2 T's.
These are good things to get right.
Eventually.
Yeah.
I better check my name.
Well,
Now, there's
I would make a motion that we accept the minutes as corrected.
I
Okay,
second that.
All right, second, all in favor? We have to do a roll call, I believe.
Can I?
Yeah.
Yes,
So, sorry, one quick question. Given that I was not at the meeting, should I abstain from voting on the minutes, or should I, what's the town policy? Or though as the alternate, do I get a vote on
We
that?
do not have a policy, and all of our regular members are here this evening. So as an alternate member, you would not be voting on this item.
Thank you for clarifying.
Typically, we do tell people if they didn't watch the video and didn't review the minutes and they weren't here, then they could abstain. But it's not a big deal.
Gotcha, thank you.
I think
Okay, so we have,
And I think it's about,
Barbara second.
Jane first, Barbara second.
Thank you for saying that. I don't know everybody's voices
Yeah,
well enough yet.
I'm taking,
Dia, for the purpose of tonight's minutes, I'll work with Andy, since you're not here, to get summary minutes put together.
Thank you. I was gonna ask, but I didn't wanna,
Do we have to
shirk
vote?
my responsibilities. That would be great because, otherwise they will be delayed. But I appreciate that for this time.
okay, let's do we got a first and second, all in favor. Collis,
yes,
Dia,
Yes,
Yes?
Chris,
Yeah, yes.
Barbara, I vote yes, Andy votes yes.
Jane?
Yes.
Yeah, yes, okay. Motion passes. Okay, honors and accolades is next. Does anybody have any to bring forward? I will say that, can I just
I
say,
do.
I thought Corey did a great job last
a
month.
lot of
and
information.
There was a lot of information. If anybody has any questions about what's going on with those dams, just watch the meeting from last month. I thought he did a great job, and I should thank him. Collis?
So my accolade would be for Dia for stepping up and taking on the responsibility of at least getting this first set of minutes put out. So thank you very much, Dia. Much it's greatly appreciated.
thanks, Jack. And now we also have to extend the thanks to Derek and Andy for working on this month's minutes. So, excellent, thanks. We're a team.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just writing down.
We don't have any public comment. No public.
Yeah, so do I need to say anything? There's nobody here, so I'm gonna just skip over public comment.
Okay?
Okay, unless anybody else has anything else they want to say in the committee? Move forward. Okay, so guests,
No, Andy, can you just share, are there any guests at the meeting?
there are none, Dia.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So, update on the guest speaker. We were unable to confirm Fish and Game for tonight, so we are still working on that guest speaker for next month. Collis, did you have anything else to add to that?
Yeah. No, just a little bit of a background. My hope was to get Matt Carpenter from Fish and Game. He's a fisheries biologist at Fish and Game. I tried, left him several messages, and he never got back to me. If he did, I didn't get the message. So I'm going to continue to try and get a hold of him and line him up for our December meeting. We talked a little bit about this at our last meeting, that we got a lot of the technical engineering information from Corey Clark, which was very helpful, but a lot of this revolves around the fisheries. That's why we're doing a lot of this stuff. Dam removal, river work, fish passages and whatnot. It all relates to the fish species. So I think it would be really valuable for him to come in and talk to the committee about, the various fish species and why we do it, what it means to the fishery species. So yeah, that's kind of reiterating what I said last time, but I'm going to continue to leave him messages and line him up for the December meeting.
Thank you, Collis.
Yeah.
Any other comments on that? Yeah.
I have a contact at Fish and Game. I'm not sure where he is, but if that would be helpful, Collis, let me know, and I can reach out through that avenue if that's helpful.
Okay, well, my contact is Matt Carpenter. He's the fisheries biologist at Fishing Game.
Okay.
Who did you have?
Kevin Sullivan, I don't remember exactly where he is, but I know he's at Fish and Game, does something with fish biology, so they might be in the same unit, but I don't know. I don't know where exactly he is at Fish and Game.
Okay.
If I remember,
Well, let me continue to reach out to Matt Carpenter, and we can touch base with each other.
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as I make contact with him.
Okay.
if I remember, he was recommended by Corey.
Oh, he was, okay.
Clark, because he is involved with the Merrimack River watershed.
Gotcha, okay.
Specifically, is what it sounded like.
That is correct, Andy, that's correct.
Do we want to brainstorm about future speakers at this time, or is this kind of, we'll listen to what we hear when we hear from Matt and kind of make a game plan going forward if we have other speakers? Barbara's got a comment.
I was just going to suggest, like, some of the people that I would be interested in hearing from that I think would be beneficial to this committee as well as the community is a town, people from a town where the dam has been removed, and people that are doing, alternate things. Like, I think it's in Wyndham, don't hold me to that, but there's a town that actually formed a nonprofit to kind of raise their own money to try to resolve things. And there's a couple of different actions that have happened in different places that would be good for us to.
So I think we've talked about Exeter. So in Exeter, they did remove the dam, and I don't remember if it was town specific or privately owned. Do you remember, Derek?
I don't remember, it was right in the middle of their downtown.
But it's a similar type.
Exeter would be a good one, that was a town project.
And they have a great website. They had a committee like this created. You can go to the website, see all the stuff that they've done.
I'll look into it and see if I can get like a list of the different
Yep.
towns or whatever.
The other
Okay.
one is, that's someone sent around recently, it's Wakefield, New Hampshire.
Okay.
And that's where they are trying to save a dam in the community. Very grassroots is what it looks like, very grassroots. And then I think like in Swansea, there are some other ones out there, I'm sure. If we reached out to Corey, he could also give us some leads on who to reach out to.
Okay.
But yeah, that sounds great.
I think it would be really helpful for us to hear from communities that have had a dam removed and what the, maybe hear from a couple of different perspectives within that town of what.
I agree.
What it entailed, how long it took.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Corey told us 4 to 5 years, but, and I do know that Manchester breached the dam on, I think it was called
McQuestion,
Maxfield Pond, where Black Brook.
yeah, I think
Oh,
it
yeah.
was
A while ago, yeah.
McQuestion.
No, that's a different,
Oh, okay.
this is Black.
Where Black Brook, it was
Just
down
before
behind
it's
an
over.
apartment
Right by the
complex.
Amoskeag Bridge.
Right, but
Yeah.
that pond was by that English Village Road apartment
Yes,
complex.
yes.
And they breached that, and the water now,
It's beautiful there now,
Mhm.
yeah.
so even maybe somebody from the Manchester Conservation or,
When you say breach, that naturally,
They removed the dam.
They removed-
But, they did, I thought.
but I think it was an earthen dam. I don't think it was,
I don't remember, when I worked at the Fishways and we had educational programs, I would be sent to that pond to pull some water so the kids could study from it and so forth. And it was not a pleasant place to go. And then, years later, when the dam was gone and it's restored, the difference is amazing. It's running clean, there's a lot of positive from that.
but I don't know who in Manchester.
I
If
can
it
look
would be
into
the
that.
Conservation Commission perhaps.
I think both Fish and Game and Corey could probably give us leads if we wanted to
Okay.
Yeah, I can
talk
look
there,
into
because they're involved with those things
Right.
extensively when that happens. I think there was
And
even,
Derek,
Yes,
could I ask you to reach out to your counterpart in Exeter, whoever that might be, and explain to him just briefly what it is we're doing, and if he might know somebody who could speak to the group?
yeah, their town manager is Russ Dean, so I can reach out to him and see if he has a contact.
if you want to put them in touch
That
with
would be
me,
great.
I can follow up to
Yeah.
take it off your plate if you want. I'm happy to talk
Yeah, I think that would be helpful, and, there's things that they have done, and maybe, we don't have to reinvent the wheel either, as far as maybe approaches. Like you said, a couple of different perspectives, so that we can, make a plan as to which direction we want to go.
Great suggestion. Okay, anything else there with regards to speakers? All right, so I'm going to move to goals, Collis, and before I do, I just want to kind of go back to our charter just to reflect what our duties are, so that we all are mindful of that. Duties and responsibilities of the committee as directed by the select board. Engage with stakeholders. This committee shall actively engage with community members, organizations, and experts through public meetings, surveys, and outreach methods. They should seek input and feedback on the Piscataqua River related issues to ensure a comprehensive understanding of community needs and aspirations. Conduct research and analysis. The committee shall research and analyze Piscataqua River related data, trends, best practices, information to inform their recommendations. Develop recommendations based on, I'm kind of skipping through this, so based on research analysis and stakeholder input, the committee will develop recommendations for the select board, present and update deliverables. The committee shall present, update recommendations to the select board as needed, or at a minimum of every 12 months. So, Collis, did you have a comment?
I did. I think that's a long list of things that we need to do, but I really think the first thing we need to do is what we're doing now, which is gathering information. I think we don't want to go into the first one you read, which was doing
communication.
Public. We don't know. At least I don't feel like I know enough to want to get involved in some sort of public meeting or public survey until we've done some of the things.
So we're really, what you're saying, we're conducting research and analysis. The committee shall research and analyze the Piscataqua River related data, trends, best practices to inform their recommendations. This may include studying the Piscataqua River needs, assessments, grant research policies, and relevant regulations, and talking to people who've gone through this. Absolutely.
Right. And I think we don't want to do number one until we've done number two.
Right, and I'd also say until we need to. If it's 5 years from now, or at least we'll have a plan and information,
Right.
a place for people to go to get resources. So, Collis, did you want to kind of lead this discussion?
Well, I think, there's a lot, obviously there's a lot to get our arms around on this, but I think the important part is how we effectively communicate with outside parties, partners, whatever you want, however you want, refer to them. Because I think we need to speak with one voice so that people aren't getting their information from who knows where, Facebook, the coffee shop, whatever. We need to tell people that there's one place to go that has the most up-to-date, accurate information, and to me, that is our town site that has our committee in there, and there would be the minutes and all agendas and all the other stuff. So I think that's the important place to start, to let people know that if you want information, here's where you go to find out. As I say, don't go on Facebook, because who knows what's going to be on there. But let's make sure we focus it so that we speak with one voice, everybody gets the same information, and there's no misunderstandings. So that's kind of just a general thing that I want to accomplish.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Collis, it's to Derek. Is this ad hoc committee on the website yet? I don't think it is.
The charter is, and
Right.
the membership, you're not an ad hoc committee.
Okay.
Ad hoc committees are created for a much shorter span of time with a very specific
Yeah.
study or report to provide back to the select board. This is a committee. The select board felt that this committee may go on for much longer. So if you go and look, it is under municipal committees. There's a copy of the charter, and all the members' names are up there.
And so minutes would then be posted.
So
where
minutes-
regular minutes are posted.
Yes, under minutes and agendas, you are there. All your minutes have been posted up there, your agenda for tonight's meeting. is there. If you wanted to get into the point of sharing some of the information that was, whether from your guest speakers, any other information, then we could put it up there.
That's what I was thinking. If there's because like it's kind of, here's the charter, here's the members, you got to go here to the minutes, and then you got to go here to watch the video. How do you bring that together?
I can talk to IT about if there's functionality. All of our agenda and minutes live in one spot, and that's the designer of the municipal website hosting company that we use. There might be a way to put some type of widget where you can quickly get to that. We haven't thought of that, to be honest with you, so I'll ask IT about that. But anything else we can post there.
I would think a link to the videos would be really helpful for us to get our information out. I mean, if you don't have, I don't know how people they watch GTV, I mean, they watch it, but what if they don't have a way to watch it? Is there a way to click on that link and have it?
Yeah.
Right now, we tell people, go to GTV, find the meeting, the listing. Let me work with IT and GTV to see if there's a way that we can start putting those up. I think right now, GTV, for those who don't know, they have a wonderful app. So you can look up meetings on the app, or you can also watch live streams on that. But then they also post on YouTube. The ones on YouTube, I think they maintain it's either YouTube or they have another place where they're only loaded there for a year before they get archived. I think they stay up on YouTube, but I'll check with GTV.
Well, I think it would be useful maybe to state somewhere under our committee that our meetings are recorded and that,
go to this link or
and you can
here to find them, something.
Some way for people to know how to navigate without having to look in 14 different places.
And then there's also the other website that the town has that's just about the dams.
So there is another page on our website that focuses on the Piscataquag dams. And what we do is I periodically, probably about once a month, maybe once every 2 months, I'll go onto the FERC website, see if there have been any developments with any of the hydroelectric license, and we'll put up correspondence. If we get further correspondence from DES that we think is of interest, we'll throw it up there as
So
well.
should that be merged or connected to this
Yeah, it
committee?
seemed like it.
Because
It should be.
we should own that, right?
Yeah, that should be.
I feel like somehow.
I don't have a concern with you, this committee kind of taking ownership of that.
Just so that it's on, if somebody clicks on the Goffstown River Advisory Committee, they could then, maybe in a separate line, they could get to that information on the
Yeah,
dam. So
absolutely.
it's all in one place.
Or conversely, if they go to the town dam website,
Right, they know about us.
have a link to the, right.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah.
but just so that you're not, I mean, I don't know how many hours you've spent trying
I
to find
have,
stuff.
oh, I have. And you know what I do? I always end up going Derek.
But I
can't
think
find.
for the average person,
Yeah,
they're gonna
it's
try
tough to-
2 or 3 things, and then if they can't find it, they're gonna throw their hands in the air.
If they even get that far, right?
Well,
Yeah, right.
exactly, so I think we wanna make it
As
really
user-friendly as
as
possible.
user-friendly as possible, yes.
Yeah, 'cause especially if there's anything you post there, we should be aware of it. I mean, we should be talking about it in this committee and reviewing it and saying, yes, that should be posted, or asking the question for the select board back to the person who sent the letter.
Exactly.
So is one of our goals then, ease of access of information?
Yes.
Well, I think what Carlos is saying, engage with stakeholders, and the town's website is where that should happen, because
Got it,
that's where the
okay.
facts
That's where
and
it
the actual data should live.
Okay.
Did you have a comment?
No, I was gonna say, and it's a .gov right,
Yeah.
website,
It's-
right? It's an authoritative source.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that should be somehow, I think what Carlos is saying, and what I agree with, is that's where all the information should live. And we're kind of in many places now is what we're
Yeah,
discussing.
right.
I think,
Go
go ahead, go ahead.
I work with other nonprofits, and we talk about this a lot. And my rule of thumb is you should never have to do more than 3 clicks to get to the exact piece of information you need.
Okay.
Sure, I'm clear.
Yeah.
No, I couldn't
Makes
agree
sense.
more.
Well,
I couldn't agree more.
So that, that's a good goal to reach for then, to making sure it's
You know, if it's
ease
just
and.
collapsible and
Yeah.
then you can open up different sections to see what you're looking for, like Carl said, yep.
Josh?
Is there, so this is part of my ignorance, but speaking of not reinventing the wheel, I know there's other town committees. Have there been other town committees that have tackled this problem, has found sort of like, oh, this is the way to do this, to pull all this, and is there a particular model that we could just copy and paste
I
and
almost
do
feel
the
like we're
same thing?
limited by what we can do with our town's website, but like if you look at the Exeter one, they've got like a whole web pages devoted, if I remember.
I can look at what Exeter did. We've only been working with this website for 11 months now.
Oh, okay.
So we're still learning some of the ins and outs of it. One of the nice things, it does have a notification option, so people can sign up and provide their email address, and they can select certain committees, news, information, bids.
I never
So they
knew about that.
they can pick out like a laundry list. So let me talk to IT and see what's the best place, whether all this information lives under the committee or the committee lives all under this information. We want to make sure that it's something that people can sign up for notifications. And then anytime we go in and update that website, it should send them
Okay.
a link.
Oh,
So
yeah.
when I create the agenda for the select board, one of the last steps when you go to publish it, it says, do you want to throw this to the RSS feed? And then it has text and email for anybody that's signed up, and it's,
No,
we
that's
don't
slick.
actually have to do anything.
That's pretty slick, that's good.
So can we make like a goal of like February to have like a plan? Is that enough time to
Yeah.
kind of like
Yep.
figure out a way to merge this?
Yeah, I
all
can probably
together?
provide some options for you, where we can put it. I need to meet with IT, and probably look through some of the training videos from the vendor that we use of just where's the best. I think the best thing is we want to get it to a place where people can sign up for notifications.
Yeah.
They can indicate that the dams and the rivers are important to them, and that way, anytime we update it, they're getting that
And
information.
that goes automatically then? That's
Yeah,
the
it's
one
it's not a big, it's not like the task where somebody has to pull up an email and it just does it automatically.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So everybody's homework here is to look at the website now.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
be prepared to have like
That's right.
suggest, is anybody a web person? Web designer? Anybody?
Mm-mm.
No. Collis sounds like he is.
No.
No, way out of my range.
We could shoot for like February, that'd be,
I think that would be good.
And I will go to other
Yeah,
websites too for
best-
dams and.
if you see something you really like.
Yeah,
And a lot of the towns in New Hampshire, this is a Civic Plus website. This is a very common vendor. I would say probably about 50% of the towns in New Hampshire use this vendor. So if you see something on another site that you really like, if you can email me a URL or a way to get to it, there's a high likelihood that it might be in a similar software to what we're using.
Okay.
So I,
Can I agree that it's premature to do any kind of public meeting. Are people hearing the questions about the dam, or is that sort of settled? Because, Collis, I totally agree. I think people need one place where they know that the information is accurate. We need one voice. I agree with all that. But again, there's just not been a lot of communication out there. So I'm wondering if all of you, like Derek and Town Hall and stuff, are people saying what's happening, or is it sort of died down a bit?
I think there were a lot of people at the high school meeting about Namaste Lake. So I think that the word is out there. I think people are paying attention.
Christie.
Yeah, I think it has tempered a lot. I mean, I think people have resigned themselves to the fact that the Hadley Falls Dam is going away. That, I think, people are comfortable with now. Namaski, I think people are becoming to a little more comfortable with it, that, there's talk about how we're gonna get fish passage through there. Are we gonna trap and truck, are we gonna create a fish ladder, what are we gonna do? That one's a little more complex. And then, of course, the big one, nobody knows that.
You hear anything, Chris? Chris, you live on Namaski?
I do live on Namaski. I think, I guess, first thing I would like to say is when we do talk about like dam removal, the only thing that so far is settled is Hadley Falls. I think identifying that kind of eases other people's tensions, that we're only talking about Hadley Falls in terms of dam removal, and that other things are still being worked through for Namaski and Kelly Falls. Or Kelly Street Dam. I just know that the people that live around me, just having general conversations with them, that they're I guess best way to put it is that they're concerned about the dam. They don't want it to go anywhere. They're very receptive to the idea of fish passage and finding alternative options. And suggesting different options, so a lot of people have input there. But that's about, I mean, nobody really knows anything to this point as to what the plan is.
The biggest, I think, stumbling block at that meeting is most people are concerned about the drawdown
Yeah, well,
coming, this summer. I mean,
I
that's.
saw some pictures of it. I was surprised how low it looked.
it got pretty low. I mean, I
Yeah.
can probably walk out about, I'd say a good 15 feet right now before I hit water.
Really?
So, I mean, it's down there, and
Wow.
it's, honestly, it's actually probably kind of a nice thing for us to be able to clean up around the perimeters there, and take the leaves and the giant branches that have kind of fallen down over the years out. So, if it was like a temporary drawdown, and even if it, I mean, they're kind of telling us, expect the water levels to rise back in early June. It's later than normal, but if that was the sacrifice for the ability to keep the lake, then I think people would be, if that's what we gotta do, then that's what we gotta do. So
I think water bodies all over the state are extremely low right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Extremely low, yeah.
Carlos, did you have any other discussion on goals, or, I mean, I think we all agree where we're at. Sounds right.
Yeah, no, I would like to start thinking about who we want to develop partnerships with. Some of them are obvious, like DES, obviously, Fish and Game, obviously, but are there other groups that we want to start sort of formalizing partnersps with, so that, we're all working mutually towards the same common goals with various partners? But that, I haven't given any more thought to how to better define that, other than, starting a list of, here's potential groups we should consider partnering with. And I think if we can start developing that list, and we can revisit it occasionally and say, yeah, well, these people not necessarily, we can add or detract from the list. That's my only thought for getting started on that.
You made me think, who else, and I immediately started to think federal, because that's where the money is. Derek, do we ever have our congressional representatives or our senators invite them in to talk about funding and what can they do to fund these projects in Goffstown?
So we don't invite them in. They do invite municipal staff in. Usually we, as they're starting to ramp up, so we expect probably in January, February, we would have a reach out. I know I've done a couple of them with Senator Shaheen's office, and I think Representative Pappas, we had done one where they will tell you this is what the process is if you're going to ask for designated, I forget what the term is, but basically the designated that allocation beyond just applying for a grant. So they do have a process for that, and they usually hold webinars that we attend, and they provide all that material. And it's usually right as they're starting, after they're sworn in January. So they usually do about once a year. So that is something that.
It just sounds like that's who we should have a relationship with, is people who have the money.
Oh, congressionally directed appropriations.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say earmarks isn't what they call it anymore.
Yeah.
I did reach out to Chris Pappas's office after the very first meeting at St. A's, because it was so illogical to me that there were no federal funds for dams that produced electricity. Like, if it's beneficial to have fish bypass, like what I had said to Corey, like, you know, you lose the electric supplier because they don't want to pay for the ladder, then the state has it. Now the state can apply because it's not, you know, funding. That doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't the federal just provide the money when the electric supplier is there? So I tried to get to the bottom of that. And I did get a rather lengthy reply from their office. And I have it, I can bring it or forward it to you all. But it basically said, they weren't they didn't say they were ready to go forward and change anything. They just kind of restated this is how the federal funding works with, as far as dams that are producing and dams that are not and so forth. There were things like if you had a tribal affiliation, then that was a different allowance and things like that. But anyway, I did make contact with Congress Pappas's office a while back.
And what was it called again?
Congressionally directed appropriations.
So has Goffstown ever made a request for anything like that? Would that even
Not
be
not in my time. They're really looking for those shovel-ready projects, the ones that are, but we have seen some, this came up as some of the research we did with the pedestrian bridge over the river was, there have been some designated, some earmarks for rail trails, so it was kind of, okay, we can get to that point where we have a plan and we know what it is. They're really looking for those concrete plans.
I would just think that that's a relationship we would want to, you know, at least make them aware of the issue, make sure it's on their minds, and if there's a NOAA grant application, let them know we apply for a grant application, you know.
Yeah, I think that we could probably work with, when DES does reapply, I think the town could reach out to our senators and Congress member and kind of say, hey, this really benefits the people of Goffstown and Manchester, so. Yeah.
And when you have those meetings with the congressional staff, is the select board directing you on asks or
No,
questions?
we've never gotten to that point. It's always been staff that's participated in those.
Yeah.
We look at it mostly my office, and I know DPW has, just because of the amount of capital infrastructure, Adam has oversight on that. We've looked at those, but we've never gotten to the point where we've submitted a request.
Yeah.
Quick question. I remember Corey mentioned they secured funding for a group of dams at, is it Pawtuckaway or something?
Yeah, Pawtuckaway he talked about, yeah.
Is that a group that we can reach out to and kind of discuss their options and how they kind of went about securing their funds and how they then decided?
I think that was DES.
That was DES.
I think they own that dam.
And the people there that we could maybe speak with?
I didn't get the feeling that they had money. I thought he said it was on that list of critical.
I think it was because there was a much greater loss of life
Risk,
that he
right, yeah.
risk for loss of life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That they,
It was
I
more
thought they
of a
did get
priority,
funding though, right?
Yeah.
But they did secure funding because of the risk,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
And I think it was ARPA funds
Okay.
is what I believe.
yeah,
What
that
I,
sounds
but I don't remember 100%.
I took notes, I
But
don't know if I have
we
it.
could circle back around. Corey would be the right one to say is, you know, how did the funding come about with Pawtuckaway?
Right.
I will say, if they are ARPA funds, there's a requirement that they be obligated by December 31st of 2024. So they're pretty much, the state's pretty much said, anything's been obligated at this point, and they're kind of done.
Yeah,
There's no space.
we're finishing
Yeah.
that up on the local level, in our next, I think we've got about $40,000 that hasn't been allocated, but we also have 6 departments that have submitted some ideas, so, yeah.
So that's really the question is, you know, where did that funding for the Pawtuckaway Dam come from? And was there a town or a group involved with that, is what
Right.
you're saying?
Yes, yeah.
Which I don't know.
I
So
thought-
do we have to I'm thinking out loud here, but do you have to identify where possible sources of funding for anything that comes on that has to do with waterways? And, yeah, do we know where these funds come from? I mean, whether it's.
I think Corey's
federal,
gonna
state-
do that, you know, Corey's
Okay.
looking for those funds, but.
Okay, so they are, because I'm wondering, would we be knowledgeable of all of the opportunities? How do we, I mean, how do we get that information?
I was just saying that, you know, it's our town, and they're our representatives federally.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so it makes sense for us to try.
No, I
to
get that, but, you know, they're not
Oh,
always,
okay.
they're not always looking
Oh,
for
it's ARPA funding
specific
positions, too.
things that might
Okay.
affect
Oh, okay.
So
the work that we're
That's what he
doing.
said his challenge was to keep it.
It's a question of grant
Oh.
opportunities is what you're talking
You
about.
grant an opportunity
For 26.
or
And-
targeted funds.
And I know at the school district level, they've had people specifically assigned to write grants. You know, I don't know what's available at the municipal level.
If you remember, Representative Mazer came to the town with something that she came across. And so,
Right.
if we come across something, we should absolutely make sure that
That's-
Derek's
that's-
aware and that it's passed on
That's
to
what I'm saying.
Corey.
There's so many,
But I'm not an expert.
yeah.
You know, so.
No, but there should be a way to find what grants are out there that are available.
Yeah, I
For-
think like grants.gov.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Is-
But
Is that something that a committee like ours should be monitoring? Is that what?
Wouldn't hurt, wouldn't hurt to look.
But wouldn't you assume Corey's?
I would assume that they're looking at every
Yeah.
stone to turn. I would assume that, but if we heard something.
And I think one of the complicating matters in this is the state is the owner of the infrastructure.
They
We-
would have to, they'd have to be the applicant.
Yeah, we really, we benefit from it, but the state's the owner of the infrastructure, so they're really the lead applicant on any of those.
Okay.
So if they apply, we really want to kind of like push.
And with the
For it
select
to
board,
get-
the select
yeah,
board they did submit some letters of recommendation, and we added those to their application. But I think we probably could have, we could probably reach out to some of our.
They all came quick.
It did, it
came
was,
really
hey,
fast.
we're submitting this at the end of next week,
Right.
whatever you can give us, so.
And just as an aside, I know some agencies are gonna be under threat, and that NOAA is one of them. But there actually is a website called Friends of NOAA to, save it if it becomes threatened. So that's something to be aware of too. And BAE Systems is on that list, so that's a
Really?
pretty good,
Oh, really?
that's a pretty good thing.
Okay, we good there? All right, old business, I don't think we have any. Collis, did we have any old business?
I don't have anything, no.
Anybody else? Any new business?
What's the guest speaker? Is this?
Yep. Yeah, the new business would be, well, we're gonna try to get Matt Carpenter for next month.
Yeah. And our next meeting is scheduled for December,
18th?
18.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
December 18th.
Want a motion to adjourn?
Anything else before we do a motion to adjourn? Dia, do you have anything else before we accept a motion to adjourn?
I just want to make sure, Derek, that you will put in the corrections that were offered in terms of people's names.
Yes, I already made those changes, saved it as a revised document, and tomorrow I will post that to the town website.
Perfect.
Excellent.
That's pretty efficient.
Thank you.
Way
That-
ahead of.
See, that is efficient. Could you also email them to me, just so I have an email copy of the final minutes?
Yeah, I'll actually send it out to all committee members, so if anybody else is keeping
Thank
a
you.
file. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. And then, so Andy and Derek, you'll work on doing these minutes.
Yes.
Thank you again for agreeing to do that. The only thing I wanted to say is I feel at the last meeting, I think it was, I mentioned that I started the art show-off as part of the pumpkin way-off, right? Art show-off, pumpkin way-off, I know, very witty. I did want to say, I did that with the help of Main Street. I didn't just do it. I went to Robbie Grady, I had the idea, she said, great. And she said, if I do it, if I do the, coordinate, then she would help publicize it, and she was wonderful to work with. So I just wanted to clarify that so you all knew where it came from.
Thank you, Dia. All right, motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We got first,
Second.
second? Okay, so let me write that down.
Jane.
Jane.
Can I just say something? This doesn't have to be part of the official
Well,
meeting.
we
It's
should-
fine,
we
fine
should-
to adjourn.
What's that?
I said I just wanted to say something, but it's fine to adjourn.
Okay,
Oh,
all right,
It doesn't
we'll
have to
take
be
a,
part of the-
all right, we got a motion for a second, I think we're all in favor. Call us, adjourn?
Yes, and before we go, I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving.
And
Thank
the
you,
same
Paul.
to you.
Thank you.
Dia?
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
Thank you. No, can you just repeat, even though I'm not doing the minutes, can you just tell me who did the motion to adjourn first
Jane.
and second?
That was,
Jane Raymond did, and then.
And Dick Bruno.
And
Dick
Dick
Bruno
Bruno.
seconded it.
Thank you very much.
It's an important job.
Josh?
Yes.
Yes. No,
I'm
Chris?
Yeah.
Josh?
I'm alternate.
Oh, okay, you can't vote. Barbara?
Yes.
Andy, yes. Yeah,
Jane,
okay, you
yes.
already did.
Yes.
All right, thank you, everyone.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You're welcome.